Still waiting for that perfect golden chance? Wake up! Years have already been wasted chasing comfort zones and daily dollars. AI's not waiting for anyone. It's sprinting ahead of us, faster, smarter, and sharper. In 10 years, it'll eat our jobs, our businesses, and definitely our excuses. Transformation, disruption, domination. Education re-engineered, property tokenized, communities reinvented. This is the decade of survival, and the One Real Tech is building the blueprint. Want growth? Get in! This is the decade where the average doer vanishes, but the bold ones, they build empires. No dependency, no pity party, no constraints, just freedom to create, to own, to flex, and to live louder than ever. This isn't some sci-fi film. This is now. The new reality, human with machine, vision with ownership. If we are not part of it, we are history. The next 10 years belong to the crazy ones, the doers. Stay in comfort and stay stuck, or get up and own the future. The choice is ours.
Good morning, everybody from Southwest Florida. We are the go-getters, we're the doers, and we are those who are out there pushing. I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and that is an honorary doctorate for advocate on mental and financial well-being and leadership in life transformation. I humbly received in September of 2024. So, welcome to season 2026 of Holistic True Wealth. And before I get started, please like, subscribe, and share your questions or even your comments with us from whichever platform you're joining us from today, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, or even Facebook. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you. So I'm truly excited to be here today because if you haven't met me yet, I'm the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness, a certified holistic coach, and your host for this transformative journey. This season really excites me because we've brought together an incredible lineup of guests, individuals who are not just talking the change, but actually living it, sharing insights that can genuinely shift the direction of your life. And for me, my core, I believe this: every single one of us deserves to live a life of abundance, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. But here's where I'm different. As a certified holistic coach, I'm taking a finance-first approach to well-being because whether we like it or not, financial stress impacts every other area of our lives. And when we address that foundation, everything else begins to elevate. We're living in a time of massive transformation, a complete shift in how we think, earn, live, and build our future. And if you're feeling that, you're not alone. But this isn't something to fear, it's something to step into, because my mission is simple: to help globally minded individuals break free from outdated systems and move from financial fatigue into true financial freedom. And this podcast is about more than ideas. It's about real solutions, paths that are working right now to help you go from just surviving to fully thriving. Because true wealth isn't just about money, it's about having the freedom, the tools, and the mindset to create the life you actually want to live. So before we bring on today's special guest, let's take another short commercial break to introduce today's podcast interview.
What if property wasn't just bricks and walls, but pixels and blockchain too? DA1 Real Tech takes real estate digital and puts ownership right in your hands. Fractional ownership, real assets, blockchain trust. The future of property is here. And where does it all start? It starts with DA1 Real Tech, where you will learn how blockchain and real estate come together. One ecosystem, endless opportunities. Are you ready to step inside? From Harare to Abu Dhabi and across the world, DA1 Real Tech is connecting ideas. ideas, assets, and innovation, turning vision into value, dreams into ownership. DA1 Realtech. Own it, live it, trade it.
Okay, we are back, and today on Holistic True Wealth, I'm thrilled to welcome Dr. Tahir Hussain, known as the Unstoppable Millionaire, and for good reason. Dr. Tahir earned his first million at 27 years old and has since generated over US dollars 1 billion in real estate sales volume throughout his incredible career. Now he's helping pioneer luxury eco resort developments in one of Africa's most exciting emerging markets, Zanzibar. And as a key leader with DA1 Hotels Resorts, Dr. Tahir is helping transform this island paradise into the Singapore of East Africa. We're sharing that information. We'll be talking about that today, and combining five-star luxury, cutting-edge technology, sustainable innovation, and so much more. And if you're ready to discover how Zanzibar is becoming a global destination for investors, digital nomads, and visionaries alike, this conversation is definitely for you. So I am humbled and honored to call him a friend, colleague, and wealth coach. Please help me welcome the founder of Unstoppable Millionaire, Dr. Tahir Hussain.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeffrey. It is such a delight being on the platform again, and thank you so much for having me. It's a delight. Thank you once again.
You're very, very welcome. So before we jump into the questions, share a little bit about who Dr. Tahir is outside of your business, your multiple businesses, I should say.
Right. So I'm just a very simple human being. I believe in peace, fulfillment, and living life to the max. So just a simple person who goes by the day. And in terms of hobbies, I love to unwind, watch movies. I'm a big movie fan. I've got a projector at my home, turn it into a cinema at home. I love cinemas. I've got about 40, 50 cinemas within a 5-mile radius from where I stay. So that's a bit about me. Otherwise, I think I'm an introvert. Otherwise, and I think I love to get educated, learn a lot. It really grows me. So that's me outside business.
Awesome. And also a world traveler. You're traveling all over the place. And I do have to give you a plug for you being one of the catalysts, along with Dr. Lothar Rapier, who planted the seed and encouraged me to apply me to the doctorate program, the honorary doctorate program. So the two of you facilitated that. So I'm truly, truly humbled. And to go through that process of I think it was 4 or 5 months, and finally heading out to Singapore in September of 2024 to receive that. So truly, truly humbled. So let's dive in, because I'm really, really excited. I have in my career been a part of multiple startup companies, with their visions and their journey as they move forward, presenting their products and services to the world. And this is yet another one, and so excited because lots of things are happening today. And we're going to start out with this about talking about strategic vision and market positioning. So we talk about Zanzibar is now positioning itself as the Singapore of Africa through a bold $1 billion dunya a cyber city designed to attract global tech talent, digital nomads, and innovation-driven capital. And in that context, how do you see developments like DA1 Hotels Resorts, which we'll talk a little bit more later, aligning with and capitalizing on this massive shift towards a digitally powered, globally connected economic hub on this island?
So let's start with Zanzibar. For those of you of those watching this who do not know about Zanzibar, it's also known as the Maldives of Africa for the African continent. And this is a very common saying if you're within the African continent. So that's something cool. Now, being in Zanzibar myself and a couple of my friends over there. We truly think it is the Maldives of Africa. So that's one aspect of Zanzibar, a massive travel hotspot tourist destination. But it's a small island. It's not that gigantic, you know. I think probably a couple of Zanzibars could fit in Florida alone because it's just a small island. It's an island that has about 1.9 million people living on it. So when you have an island prospering, thriving based on tourism already, and you have a government that says we're going to inject $1 billion cyber city, which will have tax benefits, infrastructure, modernity, and you name it. So they're going to throw in all the perks. It's logistically in a pretty strategic place. All of that, what that does is it basically gives the island an uplift. Think about your own household where there is an extra $100,000 injected annually. You'll see a shift going up. Now imagine a continent that is going to get $1 billion injected into it, plus certain tax laws, plus certain incentives, visa programs, visa waivers, easy to set up companies, all of that, digital nomads, you name it. What do you think that does to the rest of the projects out there? So that's very, very exciting, to be honest. So this is something to look forward to. Very ambitious, first of its kind in Zanzibar, and the One Hotels and Resorts are strategically positioned to benefit the maximum out of it.
That's outstanding. Yeah, lots of things are happening in Africa from opportunity perspective, and I've been noticing a lot of information out there about the exponential growth that is happening, which is really exciting in many ways. So we talk about DA1 Hotel and Resorts, and here is our baby. This is let's talk about investment and development philosophy. And you individually have created over billion in sales volume throughout your career. And what unique opportunities does Zanzibar present that you haven't seen in other markets? And how does DA1 Hotel and Resorts, this tech embedded real estate approach, set us apart from other projects?
Well, let me start with the $1 billion, Jeff, because that number is big. And what happens is, even if you do $1 million or $100 million, what happens is you get so many rejections over time through marketing and sales that you learn your lessons multiple number of times, like 1 million times, or even more. So reaching $1 billion is important because of that. Now, with that aspect of my experience with over 25 years of being in the real estate sector, pretty much, as a developer, investor, and otherwise, what I love about Zanzibar, especially the One Hotels and Resorts, is one, the location. The One Hotels and Resorts did not announce the project after the Cyber City was announced. It was actually thought of, visualized, approved way before the Cyber City was announced. So Cyber City becomes a very amazing, welcoming gift for the people who are buying into the project anyways. Pristine Indian Ocean, prime beach. It's freaking amazing in that context. So because Zanzibar has only that much of land that could be beach, turned into a beach, and not all of Zanzibar could be turned into a beach. So these lands are restricted and limited. We have one of those spaces. And then what we want to do is that we want to turn that into a 5-star ultimate luxury resort. That's a big deal, because if you went to booking.com today and just looked at 5-star luxury resorts, you'll be shocked to see the price in US dollars per night. That gives you an idea why Zanzibar is so unique and specific. Something like a 700 square feet could cost you like $400-500 a night. And that's just in booking.com with existing 5-star resorts already over there. So that gives you an idea of how amazing Zanzibar looks like when it comes to the One Hotels and Resorts strategically choosing a prime Indian Ocean beach. So that's one aspect of the One Hotels and Resorts, which is absolutely amazing when it comes to location. One of the things we always teach in properties when it comes to investing in properties is location, location, location. I mean, you live in Florida, the tropical heaven, let's say, of the United States. Why would anyone want to be there, enjoy the weather, the beaches, pristine, go to Miami, it gets better, all of that stuff, right? So imagine the entire island of Zanzibar is offering you that, with Maldives like 4-colored water themes that you get to see and all of that. So that strategically is amazing. Now, here's the other aspect. So that's the One Hotels and Resorts in a nutshell. But when we add the One Real Tech, as in the tech aspect of how the masses can benefit from it, regardless of which part of the world they live in, that's where I'm finding that a 5-star luxury resort and the tech capabilities the company has today, we are merging them together. And I would say we are one of the pioneers, because this is not something new for us. It's new for the world in terms of merging tech along with actual brick and mortar real estate. But that is where the investment in terms of asset building and the development on the Maldives of Africa. Africa is known as a sleeping giant at this point economically, because the amount of infrastructure work, construction, and all that happening in African continent is unprecedented. So add all of that together, it becomes an absolutely perfect investment in the context of buying assets and a development opportunity with the One Real Tech, the One Hotels and Resorts, and then the Zanzibar island itself.
Awesome. That's great. And you know, there's just so many things are happening today. It's just so exciting, all this information that's coming through. And let's jump into the sustainability meets luxury, because there's a lot of, I'm seeing again, a lot of this is coming into the forefront with different types of projects from a global perspective. But DA1 really promotes itself as the perfect balance of luxury, adventure, sustainability. And how do you see, or how do you navigate the challenge of delivering 5-star experiences while maintaining genuine eco-friendly practices in Zanzibar delicate ecosystems? Because I'm making an assumption here from knowing where some of your properties are, because you've got that expansive experience and knowledge behind this. So how do you see this sustainability meets luxury fits into this whole picture?
Absolutely, and it's a great social responsibility question. So Zanzibar itself, when we talk about, one of the key primary factors is protecting and saving and sustaining the marine conservation through coral reefs and mangroves in specific. So that's just on marine. Now I'll give you a true story. So when I was there in Zanzibar with the rest of the team, we were able, from our own land, which is the One Hotels and Resorts land, were able to cut off a coconut from our own trees and actually eat it and even have the coconut juice. So that's just to give you a simple example on sustainability just at our level. But from a government point of view, they are very keen about it. They basically have over 2,000 square kilometers of protected land and sea, which have to do with coral reefs, seagrass beds, mangrove forests, all of that stuff. I even went to a place where there were tortoises, which were as old as 90 years old, which were in a protected place. So in terms of responsibility, it's amazing what Zanzibar as a government, as a country, or as an island is doing. Zanzibar is a part of Tanzania, in case people don't know. So it's not a country within itself, but it's a very popular destination of Tanzania. But it's an island, a tropical island, if you would. So, and a tropical island that's lush, green, and without the spoils of all the natural man-made disasters to the environment. It still is protected, and I think the government is very serious about it. It will stay protected. One of the things that they're looking at is starting water taxis at the same time. In certain areas, they're working on doing demo projects on that, just to make sure that things are a lot more sustainable long term as tourism gets an uplift and a boost.
Very exciting, and it's also my understanding it's an island that has very minimal hurricanes and floods and tsunamis. So
that's a good point. So zero on natural disasters. And that's one of the reasons why, if you look at, like, the real estate investors would know this, that we look at occupancy rates in different countries around the world. In the case of United States, different states have different occupancy rates. For example, Florida or Miami in specific is really high on occupancy, given the weather the beaches, in spite of the hurricane, because Florida is also known for the hurricane. Zanzibar doesn't get any of the hurricanes. So that's one of the reasons why the occupancy rate of Zanzibar from the government data would show it's over 80% occupancy rate. So we don't have extreme heats. We don't have natural disasters. Yes, we do have monsoon rains in Zanzibar, but that is not something that would cause floods and landslides and things like that. It is not of that capacity. So it gets the best of that. So an 80% occupancy rate for a particular island is considered exceptionally high by any standards in the world.
That's great. So we're up to a commercial break here. We're going to take a short commercial break. Then we're going to come back and talk about fractional ownership, a little bit into that. And we'll be right back with Dr. Tahir. Okay, we are back, and so DA1 Realtech has selected Zanzibar as its second location, building the DA1 Hotel Resorts. And for those who have followed myself and have seen Dr. Tahir before, we do have a property in Dubai, which is the Paramount apartment, and that was our very first property that was tokenized on the blockchain technology. But this property, just like Dubai, there's a lot more opportunity here with Zanzibar because it's a much bigger property, but it comes with some unique opportunities, including the fractional ownership, to list a few of them. Can you share with the audience about the fractional ownership opportunity, and also include some of the recent numbers around DA1's, the hotel and resorts value proposition for international people who are looking to diversify their portfolios?
Absolutely. So one of the things I love about fractional ownership is the fact that anyone around the world could click a button and buy a fraction of an asset. In our case, Zanzibar property, let's say an apartment. That is insane, unheard of, very new to the world, yet it is real, yet it is happening. Yet the one Realtech has been doing it successfully, as you mentioned, Jeff, with Paramount properties in Midtown Dubai, which is a pretty iconic property space, and paying rentals and all that successfully for over 3 years. So this is not a foreign concept to the One Realtech. Of course, to the audience it might be, but imagine the power of that you're sitting from the comfort of your home, you could click a button and buy a fraction of an asset that is basically miles and thousands of miles away, and still tap into all the benefits that island, that resort, that property would be giving you. So that's mind-boggling. And that's the first aspect of why you would absolutely want to know more about how you could do that and the unfair advantage that you have with fractional ownership. The second aspect, the second question rather, the one's value proposition. One, building the tech. Two, owning the tech. Three, owning the actual resort. Think about it. A developer and you as consumers, or me as a consumer, buying. There's no middleman. Literally nothing.
Right.
How about paperwork? Can you imagine if you've ever bought, anyone listening to me right now, anywhere in the world, bought a real estate? There are like hundreds, if not thousands of paperwork to sign, lawyers, attestations, go there, give a power of attorney to someone. It's just a very complicated process. Imagine if you could do that at a click of a button. That's the unfair advantage.
I've done it. It's great.
Yes. There you go. So, and then your hands and get tired signing and stuff. Now, the other aspect is, the other unfair advantage is hundreds of millions of dollars in resorts. Who gets the benefit? Think about it. Think of a resort that you love. Who gets the benefit? What's your stake in it? Now imagine the one hotels and resorts. While you have the unfair advantage of paying a couple of $100, literally, and owning a fraction of something that is worth millions of dollars. In terms of how you look at it. So I'll give you one example. Think of a square feet. Yep, perfect, Jeff. Thank you so much. Think of that square feet of an apartment that you own. But where is that apartment? In a building. Where is that building? On a beautiful sunset beachfront. And where is the building? Zanzibar, which we are talking about. And at the end of the day, you're owning that couple of $100 to a couple of $1,000 worth of fractions of that asset anywhere in the world, thousands and thousands of miles away, through the click of a button, and yet you're tapping into all the rental benefits, appreciations. You're not building the resort, by the way. Someone else is.
Right.
The one hotels and resorts is, but you're getting all the appreciation benefits and stuff, and with almost zero paperwork. In fact, it is zero paperwork.
Yes.
So these are some of the value propositions when you look at the unfair advantage anyone can get across the world through the click of a button, thanks to technology and blockchain.
Yes, and another key point to let our viewers know, this is phase one of a 3-phase project. And this is the apartments and the glamps that are for sale and for fractional ownership opportunities. We have the resort, we have the hotel that's coming, following the completion of this, which is going to increase the value even more with this entire piece of property. On top of that, we own property in Mozambique. We're looking at other properties in other countries of the world as we, move forward. So again, a lot of opportunities with regards to getting in on the ground floor, is what they say, when there are different types of opportunities to diversifying your portfolio. And I go back to decades ago when Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon came into, introducing their technologies. People were like overwhelmed. It was like, oh, it's a fad, it'll never last. Well, that's where we are today with blockchain technologies. And so let's move on real quick here, because we're kind of coming to the end of the show. I do want to talk about, the time, the place, the opportunity. And we talk about this Zanzibar being the Singapore of Africa, and Dunia, which is, you just informed me, it's Dunia Cyber City is global world cyber city, and it aims to reach $1 billion commercial value within 2 years. So, as someone deeply invested in Zanzibar's future, how do you see projects like DA1 Hotel and Resorts complementing and benefiting from this ambitious tech-focused development?
Right. Lovely question, Jeff. So here's how I'm looking at the company, the One Hotels and Resorts, didn't buy into these hectares of land in Zanzibar, which I had the opportunity to see as well. And they're big. Sorry, not hectares, acres of land. And this is way before $1 billion Dunia Cyber City was being announced, because we already strategically understood the numbers and everything else. Right. But now with the $1 billion in the next 24 months added on that island, a small island, what's that's gonna do is, number one, it's gonna drive the market insane in terms of economic growth, price, opportunities, jobs, new companies being formed, Zanzibar becoming a much cost-effective place to live for a lot of people as well, because of tax benefits and stuff like that. Now, what does that mean for the One Hotels and Resorts? Whatever we have done so far, and we're just getting started, as Jeff, you mentioned, is the tip of the iceberg. We're just getting started. This is just our phase one in Zanzibar. We've got so much more. So imagine if $1 billion gets added onto a tiny island of 1.8 million people that live there, what do you think will happen? So if at all there ever was a great time to buy something in Zanzibar, this is that time. You don't buy. I remember one of my teachers used to say, when I started investing in real estate in properties, he used to say, when you read the news in the newspaper and the project is done, it's too late. Go on to the next project. And I'm like, what do you mean it's too late? They're like, because everyone else has already come on board. Every major player is already on board. It took me a couple of years to understand that getting into certain rooms, understanding a couple of things. So don't wait for the next 24 months for the cyber city to be built and then say, now let me go and buy something at 2 times, 3 times the price perhaps, or even more, because again, we are on prime Indian Ocean and it's restricted and limited. So this is the time. The time is not when something is built. The time is when the vision is there. And I've seen this with Dubai. Before people even knew what Dubai was, before 2001. I grew up in Dubai, right? So before 2001, barely people knew about Dubai till Palm Jumeirah and the tallest tower and all of that happened. But by the time those things happened, guess what? I have seen people make 10x, 20x on properties in Dubai.
Right.
It was an era. I feel that could happen even with Zanzibar in the coming years to decades, So think about it. This is something exceptionally time-wise, strategically important.
Most definitely. And again, we talk about opportunities and planting those seeds out there. And as we're coming up to the end here, I want to encourage people to, if you are really interested, well, first of all, I have to thank Dr. Tahir for joining us today, because this man is so busy. He is all over the place. He's joining us from Malaysia. And for those who made comments and asked questions in the different areas of the platforms, we'll definitely get back to you. But as an ex-software engineer, and we talked, Dr. Tahir talked about Dubai and those opportunities. As an ex-software engineer, I was approached in 2009 with the opportunity to purchasing 500 Bitcoin at 0.0017 cents. That's an 85-cent investment. My response back then was, nah, sounds like a scam. And we know where Bitcoin has gone to today. But if you are interested in getting some more information, I highly encourage you to scan the QR code. It will actually take you to a replay of a webinar specifically talking about Zanzibar, the tokenization of real estate, and what this project has to offer for those that are looking to diversify their portfolio and start, just really investigating and participating in this new paradigm shift that we are actually in. And we are in a paradigm shift, and things are changing at a rapid pace. And rather than waiting 5, 10, 15 years until it passes you, you don't want to be one saying, I wish I would have listened to Dr. Tahir or Dr. Jeff and what they had to offer. Take a look at that 20-minute presentation, and you can give me a call. We can follow up with questions and answers. And Dr. Tahir, any last parting words before we sign off for today?
Absolutely, Jeff. Here's something which I feel our audience needs to understand, is that we have created a system of plug and play. I'm not exaggerating when I said you can click a button and literally buy a fraction. There's no exaggeration in that. It's not a marketing hype. It's real. Because the One Hotels and Resorts, the One Real Tech, they figured it out. They figured the best of both worlds, the conventional business and the tech business, and they've merged it together. So easy to click and play. I mean, who knew there would be a time when you could, click on a phone and you could do a video call. Tell this to someone in the 60s or 70s, and they would be like, what kind of a voodoo magic is that? And today we're talking about fractional ownerships through a click of a button. So I highly recommend you to leave your questions, go back to the person who's invited you, talk to Jeffrey and others, and just go and figure out on the click and play, and we stand by that. So that's my thing. And here's something to end up with, right? The biggest regret I've ever had in life was not the bad decisions or the good decisions. Were the decisions I didn't make, because I wouldn't know how I could have changed my life in so many different ways. So don't be that person. Make sure you get enough for you to make a decision and then go with it. Come and travel with us to Zanzibar. Let us show you the actual resort. All of that stuff. So again, Dr. Jeffrey, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Tahir. Yeah, it's about getting into your uncomfortable zone. The world is changing. We need to change with the world. And here's the thing, if it resonates, great. If it doesn't resonate, great. And if you want more information, definitely reach out. But the idea is at least you've been educated and you're not put in this box and it's like, I don't know what's going on here. And I don't know, I don't think I should do this, or I don't think I should do that. You do your own due diligence. Don't listen to other people. Do your due diligence, which is what I did starting out in 2018, coming off of 5 medications, exploring holistic. And here I am today, and it's just taking me further and further and further. So thank you, Dr. Tahir. Reach out with any questions. We will respond to any questions that are in our comments. And thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, it's Jeff, your digital currency strategist. What if technology wasn't just something you used, but something you experienced? Welcome to the world of real tech, fintech, edtech, AI, and the metaverse, designed with intention. We're building 5 digital continents, each with its own unique user experience. 2 are already live and the others are coming soon. This isn't hype. This is infrastructure, your education or ownership. Stay tuned, because I'll be taking you inside the Meta, one 𝐰𝐿M-versity, and our Zanzibar Hotel and Resorts property, where innovation meets real-world impact. The future isn't coming. It's being built right now. Won't you join us?